When I was in secondary school. I think I was a prefect by then. I can't quite remember. But I was asked to lead the devotion on the school assembly. I practiced and practiced and practiced beforehand. But when I got there, my voice was trembling from beginning to the end. Like, it was so obvious over the microphone. It was just like, ah. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So I want to share a story with you. You won't believe that growing up, I was very shy. I struggled a lot with low self-esteem. In fact, if not because of my struggle with shyness and low self-esteem, I would have been appointed as the senior prefect girl in my secondary school. In fact, I remember a time when I was in secondary school. I think I was a prefect by then. I can't quite remember. But I was asked to lead the devotion on the school assembly. I practiced and practiced and practiced beforehand. But when I got there, my voice was trembling from beginning to the end. Like, it was so obvious over the microphone. It was just like, ah, that kind of sound, right? So my voice was trembling all through. It was like the most torturous, like, I don't know how many minutes, 30 minutes of my life. And then, I kept struggling with that through my teenage years, even into my early 20s. And, what changed for me is, you won't believe it when I tell you what changed for me. So I finally, in my early 20s, moved from Nigeria to the United States. And I sat under teaching in church that just changed my entire mindset. So this was teaching about love, how much God loves me, how much He cherishes me, how much I'm worth in His eyes. Teachings about how He accepts me the way I am, how I don't have to perform to earn His love, how my identity is the one who is loved by God, things like that. As I listen to this kind of messages Sunday after Sunday, week after week, month after month, year after year, I realized that my mindset began to change. I began to see myself the way God sees me. I began to become more confident, more bold, to be who I am. Even my mistakes, I didn't see them as, oh my God, or I'm defined by these mistakes, and all is in shambles because I've made these mistakes. I began to even make light of the things that normally I would have taken seriously before. I just began to value myself more, right? And I want to share this for somebody who might be struggling with low self-esteem, somebody who might be struggling to learn how to love themselves well. How do you learn how to love yourself well? How do you learn how to value yourself? How do you learn how not to speak badly to yourself on your inside? So you have that voice in your head that's always saying, oh, why are you like this? Why don't you be more like this person? Why are you acting this way? And things like that. Why don't you ever do anything right? That voice in your head, that critical voice. How do you change that voice to become a more loving voice, a more accepting voice, a more empowering voice within yourself? It starts with embracing the love of God. It starts with embracing the love of God, letting God love you, understanding how much He loves you, accepting that love, and then you begin to see that you are worthy. You are worthy of love. And when you begin to say that, you begin to love yourself. So that's where self-love comes into the play. So now, when we talk about self-love, the world has different views of self-love. What I'm talking about when I say self-love is the healthy kind of self-love. There's the healthy self-love and there's the toxic self-love. Let me tell you the difference. Toxic self-love is self-love that tends towards selfishness and self-centeredness. The kind of self-love where you don't care how others feel or how they are doing or what's going to happen to others. All you want is for yourself. The world revolves around you. If it doesn't work for me, then I don't care whether it works for others. That's toxic self-love, right? Healthy self-love, on the other hand, is a love that loves yourself the way God loves you, but does not diminish the value of others. So you value yourself without diminishing the value of others. That's healthy self-love, right? You value yourself, but you're not self-centered. That's healthy self-love. So how do you actually overcome low self-esteem? You do that by developing a healthy self-love. And how do you develop a healthy self-love? You do that by embracing the love that God has for you, right? So it's interesting how one of my classmates from secondary school who knew me back then, my shy, reserved self, um, she sent me a voice note recently, and then she said a few things, right? She was talking about how suddenly I moved out of Nigeria and I became this new person. I became this person that is filled with passion for God, this person that is bold for God, that puts herself out there and is speaking more, expressing herself more. I wasn't that person back then. So it's interesting how that difference, that change that happened in me, I didn't only observe it, other people also observed it. Other people who knew me from before were also able to observe that change in me. So it's possible. You can be bold, you can be confident, you can overcome low self-esteem by embracing the love of God, by feeding on His word, and by loving yourself in return. Healthy self-love always would help you to overcome low self-esteem. I hope that my story encouraged you. Share this with a friend, and I'll see you in the next video.